Podcast may contain language or subject matter that may not be suitable for kids.
And we're the best friends that anybody could have.
You've been fucking warned.
I drink liquor.
Go to our website at b3fpodcast.com for merch. Click on Tell Us What You Really Think to leave a completely anonymous review of each of us.
Oh, yeah, just a sick sucker and I like it.
Enjoy the show, you cunts.
Whoa.
What?
That's just a very abrupt ending to that.
I know.
Intro.
Melon really
Strange.
needs to do some fade-ins and fade-outs.
Yeah, I did. I don't know why it's cutting it, so I have to try that one again. So anyway, how's it going?
It's going, buddy. How you doing?
I'm okay. What are you drinking today?
I am drinking some Lead Slingers bourbon.
Oh, well, I'm drinking some Barton's gin and tonic.
Oh, look at you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Hey, at least now with us being the doing the remote thing, you don't have to keep your hand over your glass the whole fucking episode.
That's just true.
What's up, Trevor?
So can you hear my son's dog out there?
No.
That's good. She wouldn't come in just a minute ago, and now she's outside barking her head off right behind me.
Sounds about right.
So anyway.
So yeah, buddy. How you been? I mean, this is a back-to-back for us. We just did a
Right.
an episode of Something for the Weekend.
Yep.
Which I'm honest to God still shocked that they have me on there at all, but it's fun.
Sure.
Yeah.
It is. I enjoy doing it. It's, get to sort of argue a little bit back and forth, debate, whatever you want to call it. And then, also make jokes and piss viewers off. Evidently somebody today thought I was being mean. So yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. You were told to watch your language, even though,
I think
you're very tame. So
yeah, it's like, I don't understand. I don't think people really understand how much I watch my fucking language on that show.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. That is
like last time we did it, I slipped a couple fucks, but this time I didn't. Well, I said one at the very end, but that was just for dramatic effect.
Yeah. Well,
how do you feel about this, Ben? How do you feel about this remote?
It's different. Like for me, because right now I wanted to get up and go let the dog in because she started barking, but it's different. It is.
What's letting the dog in having to fucking do with this?
Because I'm not present. That's why. So if you were here across from me, it'd be different because I'm engaged with a physical person. So
I am a physical person, Joey. I'm a very, very physical person.
Right now you're just more or less like a chat person. So give me just 1 second here.
Oh, God damn it. All right. So Trevor, you're drinking Crumma Dungeon or Crumma Dungeon. Holy shit. And yes, we do want to be close to each other. It's definitely a much better time when we can touch under the table, which we do often. So anybody watching, how do you guys feel about us being back? It's monthly. I say monthly loosely. I don't know how long it's been since the last show, but we're here and we're trying to make this happen. Just for the fans, for all the fans. There are many of you. And if you didn't catch it, the intro still has the website listed. The website doesn't work now. So, you can go there, but good fucking luck.
Yeah.
If you really want merch, go like a real fan and make your own fucking custom shirts on Shopify or some shit like that.
No, I mean, we've still got that. Yeah. You could still reach out to us and get that, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That's really it. So anyway,
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like if we've had merch that nobody would still buy it. So,
Yeah, probably not. Trevor, he supports us by coming on the
chat,
tuning in, chatting for a minute, but he doesn't support us buying merchandise.
No.
or all those photos I see him posting on Facebook and all the social medias. I never see a B3F shirt or hat or shoes or pants or anything. So
anything.
So
dude, anyway. I wonder if we had a B3F alcohol and make it like one of the worst things ever.
That would be that's
like a really shit bourbon.
But I don't want to do that. That's the
I know.
thing. Speaking of shitty, I made Matthew try that whatever the hell it was
You
from
made him
last
try,
night.
or you tricked him into trying?
Well, I was just like, "Oh, hey, you should try this," because he knows like
Oh,
I've got some pretty good stuff here or whatever. And then he, what's up, CQ? But I was like, "Oh, you should try this," and he was like, "All right, what is it?" And I read the bottle. I was like, "It's blah 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 blah. It's from Chicago," and that's all I said. And he took a sip, and he was like, "That's not too." Ooh, my God! He's like, "That's so bad." So it's like it took a second. It's so bad.
So bad.
It's like, trick your friends. So
Because I mean, the color,
anyway.
you could almost pass it off as a different type of liquor.
You could for sure. Trevor said B3F vodka. God no. No.
I'd sell one if somebody would buy a beaker.
I mean, I'd sell anything if somebody would buy it. I mean, but no one's buying. It's
Yeah.
But I just don't like vodka. Like it's great. There's some drinks with vodka in it that are okay, but overall, like I'm never gonna choose a vodka to drink. Like
I drink Tito's
I
exclusively.
was gonna say, yeah. I was gonna
Which
say,
I think we've
good
talked
Lord
about
made Irish whiskey for a reason. So
I think fucking power or not powers, fucking 12, proper 12. Ugh.
yeah,
Ugh.
Conor McGregor.
But yeah, shit. Did you see where he got hit by a fucking car?
I saw something happen, but
He cried
I
like
didn't
a
see
bitch.
what it was. Did he?
He cried like
That's
a
funny.
bitch.
I mean, he got hit by a car. I don't know that qualifies for bitch, but
No,
you
because
know.
he was okay. He was crying because he was scared, not because he was injured.
I'll
Like,
have
he
to.
basically
I'll have to
walked
find
away.
it. I have to find. Did you see the video of Dana White and slapping his wife?
No.
It was like over New Year's, like they were somewhere. I don't know, but they were arguing about something, and she slapped him once or twice. And as she turned to walk away, he reached over and smacked her too. And they've both since come out and been like, you know what? Neither of us should have reacted that way. We were arguing. There's a lot of alcohol involved. We shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Apologies around.
but
And he's managed to, I guess, kind of go sort of unscathed. I mean,
Wow.
from it. So
I just want to know who smacks a woman after she turns around. If you're gonna smack one, they got to be looking at you.
I think
proper
I think
etiquette.
he was reaching as she was turning and
Oh,
caught her is what it
Gotcha.
was.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
it was yeah, that was I thought, oh, UFC's like either UFC's over or he's out. No more longer going to be
Yeah.
the president since he doesn't own it
Ooh,
anymore. But
speaking of which, did you see that Royland is out of Rick and Morty? Gone, removed.
I assumed that was going to happen, which to me says Rick and Morty may be over. Like,
Yeah, I mean, supposedly Harmon's going to keep it going, but Royland is 3/4 of the show. It's like, well, it's half Harmon's writing and then Justin Roiland's, because they could
voices,
definitely
yeah.
find somebody that could do the voice.
I
Because
just don't think they're going to find another. I don't think it's going to quite be the same. It's going to be slightly different. is the
No,
thing.
because you're going to get somebody that can do the voices, but nobody that can have the same attitude or bring the
Right.
same
I
type
think
of
that's
improv.
probably true. Yes, I think that's
Yeah.
probably true. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a little sad about that. I mean, I don't give a shit about
Sad that he did
whatever
it, or
Justin Roiland's
sad that he's
doing.
not part of.
No, sad
Rick
that
and
Rick and Morty is going to go away. I don't give a shit about what he does in his personal life.
Oh, really? You don't care if he's trying to pick up minors?
No,
Hmm.
it's got nothing to do with me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I understand.
I mean,
that.
I don't condone it, nor do I. But as long as I'm getting the entertainment value that I want, what they do on their own time, like we've talked about this, separating artists from art, if you want to call Rick and Morty art. But I mean, like,
I mean,
if-
it's definitely.
if-
I mean, fucking, if Piss Jesus is art, so's Rick and Morty. I mean,
right. This is true. But I'm just saying, like, if you based artist behaviors at any point in modern music history, you wouldn't listen to
Oh, yeah, for
3/4
sure.
of the artists out there. You know,
you couldn't listen to 100% of the movies from the 90s to 2015 or so. So
Yeah.
anyway,
movies, what?
you couldn't watch movies like if you
Well,
based certain things because Weinstein produced all these movies. You couldn't watch any of that shit. So
Yeah, no, I was just thinking from the music standpoint because musicians are notorious, just musicians are just notorious scumbags. And I feel like
Sure.
it was a really common thing in the 70s. I feel like a normal studio conversation went something along the lines of, guys, I just wrote this new song. It's going to be a fucking hit. And the bands are like, oh man, yeah, really? What's it about? And they're like banging underage girls.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of
Picked her
gets
up in the
quiet.
Chevy van and dropped her
Right.
back off by the river.
And then everybody gets really quiet and looks at each other. And then they're like, fuck yes, we're in. And that is how the bulk of the
Yeah.
records in the 70s were made. You know?
Yep. So anyway, I'm definitely one that can separate art from the artist, you know. But speaking of, did you see that Cosby's going on tour in 2023? I'm not kidding.
I did not.
I'm not kidding.
I
He's going
did
on
not.
tour.
I'm
let
not
me see if I
surprised.
can- I'm not either.
Louis C.K.'s performing again pretty regularly, which is good to see.
Oh, he has been for over. I mean, hell, I think he won a Emmy or a Grammy since he was canceled.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure one of his albums
Well, it's like
won something.
it's like we talked about for the last show we were just on. Fuck, I just completely forgot what I was going to say about that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So this article is from Variety. It says Bill Cosby is eyeing a return to touring in 2023. In a surprise December 28th interview on WGH Talk with host Scott Spears, Cosby answered yes when asked if 2023 is the year he finally might be able to tour again. He's now 85. Let's see here. When I come out of this, I feel that I'll be able to perform and be the Bill Cosby that my audience knows me to be. Yeah.
See, Bill Cosby is one of those guys for me. He was just never, as a stand-up comedian, that funny. I'm not saying he wasn't funny. He just wasn't like, I don't know. Well, this
He's
pinnacle of comedy.
really funny. It's a different kind of
I think-
comedy than
I
I
think
think
he
you
was-
like. But
No, I think he was in his day. I don't think that has
I mean, his last special that he did, while not the same as when he was at his pinnacle,
Yeah.
was really good. I mean, the granted special's 5 or 6 years old or something like
Yeah,
that. But
maybe.
he's still really good.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I
So-
felt like the Carlin's one of his last special or two were the same. I was like, at this point, and I feel like Cosby on tour is going to be the same thing. It's just kind of sad. Like Carlin from where he was, and if you watch his later couple
Sure.
of things he did, was just
I
absolutely.
know. I agree.
It was the
with that.
same. It was the same shtick, just regurgitated.
I
And
think-
that's one thing I was going to say that I'd say for Seinfeld is he has at least changed. It's still the same style, but he's changed his delivery. The last time that that stand-up here, at least we saw him, he's much more jaded with his attitude. It's still the same, generally safe content language-wise, but it's a lot more
Sure.
appropriate for somebody that's in his whatever.
I saw him live back in October, and he was as good as anyone I've ever seen live. I mean,
Yeah,
he was
yeah, but
so
that's what I'm
good.
saying. But
Yeah,
but he's also
he's
evolved.
adapted.
Yeah,
Adapted, yeah, for sure. I think Cosby would. I mean, obviously he's going to sell tickets, right? Because there's people out there that think he's innocent. There's people that want to see the spectacle. There's people that want to see Cosby be able to say I saw Cosby. I would,
Right.
man, I really do want to see Cosby. I want to be able to say at some point I saw one of the guys that a lot of comedians consider to be the best, one of the best, if not the best.
Yeah.
And I just, I don't know. I'm torn on that one,
Yeah.
but I think if he went out on stage and talked about all of that and made
Mhm.
jokes and things like that, that's the only way you remotely
Yeah.
even come close to bouncing back.
but that's the thing is Cosby's not that type with his.
He's not, but
comedy.
that's the
He's
thing.
not
Like, just
self-deprecating.
change, just come out and instead of being America's dad, come out and be America's pervy uncle. I mean,
Right. Like, did you see when one of the first ones that Louis C.K. filmed when he came out, he was like, "So how have you guys been the last
Right.
couple of years?" He was like,
yes,
"Mine's been kind of rough," and
right.
when then I was like, okay, I don't know. I can appreciate that. But regardless of any of that, I really don't give a shit how people act on their personal lives. I won't condone it or say that
Sure.
it's good, but it doesn't stop me from enjoying whatever their fucking creation is.
No, I agree. I agree with that. I mean, I have a Bill Cosby special on vinyl, and every once in a while I'll put it on and listen to it if no one else is home.
Yeah. 100%.
So, Roxanne.
Yeah. Because I mean,
Roxanne.
what it comes down to it, I'm not the one that's getting finger blasted. So
I don't think he was finger blasting people. I think
No,
there's
he
a little
wasn't.
more than that.
He
but
wasn't. Yeah, just
you know.
just a,
You know,
just a little bit.
the thing about Louis C.K. is like he maybe it was a slight abuse of power, but outside of that, he asked permission for everything he did, and the worst thing he did was jerk off around people, right?
That we allegedly.
Well, look, we can only go off of what he's been accused of, right? So
I know. I'm joking.
and he admitted to it,
Yeah. Regardless of any of that, again, it doesn't stop him from being a funny motherfucker.
right? So he just performed at Madison Square Garden last night for his last time. He said it's the last time he's going to perform there, but he did it live. He streamed it on his website. So it was like $28. You could tune into the stream and then the audience there or whatever. But Louis C.K. performed live last night, and I was planning to get it and completely forgot it was last night until it was 30 minutes into the set, and I was like, well, I'm not going to do that. So
yeah, I don't know,
but
it's
anyway.
it's just amazing to me that
Finger blast you, right?
Oh, that is wonderful.
See, where's that when we do something for the weekend, Roxanne? I'm gonna have to ask Andre about that.
Oh, so am I, Roxanne.
Finger blasted
So
as
am
you
I.
guys speak.
That's why I keep my
Good-
hands under the
Good
table.
deal. I'm gonna keep that
good
in
for
mind
you
for
guys.
later.
Yeah.
I was talking about you getting it done, not Roxanne.
Oh, okay. My bad. I was confused.
Yeah, we should
Andre's
have
like, by who?
I was Is Bill here? No, no. We should have just carried this over and just had Roxanne and Andre just.
I'm
stay
just
with us.
saying he should have never bought the motorcycle.
That's.
Oh, god damn it.
Oh,
I will
God.
say it's good not to have to edit my fucking mouth, but
Right. Sure.
so I don't know. I was thinking about though, do you want to keep doing like a back-to-back thing like we're doing this time, just knock it all the fuck out?
Possibly.
It's
It's possible.
not bad.
It's really going to kind of depend from time to time what everything looks like. It just worked out this time that we can record this right now, and then I'll actually won't even put it out tomorrow. I'll wait and do it next Monday.
Well,
So it's actually into
our-
February. So
Yeah, well, our schedules are fucking stupid anyway these days.
it is. Yeah. So
You're all important now, so you travel a lot. I haven't traveled much at all, so.
right.
But I
Right.
got my kid living with me now, so that's super fun.
You know, it's an interesting thing. Just because you brought up work, and I have been traveling more. I was to Jacksonville a few weeks ago. Oh, did I tell you about? I did tell you about the bed bugs, didn't I? Or did I not tell you about that?
Yeah, you did. You did.
Yeah. So that was an interesting situation, but I don't travel again till like first week of March, maybe. So I've got a little bit of a break from the travel,
look
but
at you.
I really like my job now. You know, I took a promotion back in October or
you.
whatever, and
Congratulations.
I know. I really I liked my job before, but I really enjoy my job now.
Wow.
It legitimately feels important, and like I know what the hell I'm doing.
Well, at least it feels important.
Right.
I finally have value through what I do for a living.
Right.
Ah,
I don't feel like I'm just faking it till I make it at this point
yeah.
anymore.
Oh, I
So,
absolutely still am. Holy shit.
I have times when I do that, but for the most part,
Dude,
I don't.
I
So,
fake it till I make it with life, and usually I just don't make it, so I'm just faking it a whole
Sure.
fucking lot.
yeah. So
the lights
anyway,
flickering.
I know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Somebody turned the microwave on or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you remember that back in like the 80s and early 90s? Like, so if you turn the microwave on in the house, it would fuck shit up, right? Like,
Yeah.
hair dryers and
they didn't-
microwaves seem to really screw shit up.
Yeah, they didn't exactly shield the the
For
radiation
sure.
very well. Dude, I still get if I'm somewhere and the lights flicker. So when I was in Alaska, we had these big fucking transmitters that went off, and if they went on, they had to stay online. But every time you could tell, if they browned out 3 times, it would shift, and you'd have to run the fuck down there. But you'd sit there, and the lights would like flicker once, and you're like, fuck. And then if it flickered a second time, you're like, well, god damn it, and you're starting to shit on. But this god awful alarm would go off, and I still hear that shit in my nightmares. So if I'm ever sitting somewhere and the lights flicker for a second, it's just this moment of fuck.
Good Lord. So, all right. last
What?
time we got together, you brought up a topic that we kind of left
Oh,
out
god damn it.
on.
I forgot about that.
Did you? Yeah. So
Yeah.
you brought up a topic that we left out on, and we, anyone that's ever watched our show or listened to our show or whatever, we tend to not stay on topic, but
No.
was an interesting one that I wanted to come back to. And
How do you remember shit? Like I
I put it
completely
down. I
forgotten.
wrote it down.
Okay.
I wrote it down.
Fuck, I don't remember
Or
that
I put it in
conversation.
I have a little note and I type it in there so it stays there and I don't forget something. Now there are
Yeah.
definitely times that I don't put stuff in there that I should, but so if I didn't write it down correctly, just correct how you said it, but it was somewhere along the lines of if you are pro trans females competing in women's sports, then you are not pro woman.
Yeah. And I thought about that actually a little bit afterwards, and the wording can get a little fucking weird because
Sure.
whatever, like you start talking nuance and stuff, but it's funny. And the reason I say that is because we don't worry about, and this goes beyond just sports, but the sports is the easiest analogy because it's the most clear cut, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we don't give a shit about trans men playing in men's sports. Why?
No.
Because they're not going to be competitive. Period.
Sure.
As a general speaking, but but if a trans woman is playing in a women's sport, it's dangerous. Like at that point, it's especially in any type of combat sport, and that's been proven more than
It's
once.
dangerous for me if it
And-
happens in the lingerie football league. So that's dangerous for me. But
No, but point being, it's like, especially when you come to combat sports or football or things like that, you start the whole reason that women's sports specifically exist is for women to have a competitive outlet for the various sports programs, right? Because
sure.
in general, women aren't going to compete with men. So when you start putting that and saying, well, it's discrimination if you don't allow it, well, then you're putting women's lives, or I should say lives, but women's health and safety and physical physical safety at complete risk, and a disregard for the things that women have built in those areas, and a disrespect for the women that have set records and that have done all this other stuff. So the thought in my head was, because to me, if you're 100% pro this, right, is, and I'm not talking about in sports, I'm just in general, like because to me, if you're 100% pro trans rights, which there's nothing wrong with at all, then you have to succeed that the women's rights in certain areas, I shouldn't say women's rights, but women's safety is not as important as their rights.
Agreed.
And you can't cross those two. So you can't be 100% one way or the other. Like people want to say, well, there's, we need equality, we need this and we that. But in reality, like what you want as equality is not, it's still equality, but equality and equal aren't, or equality and fair aren't the same thing.
Well, most time when someone says they want equality, they don't want equality. They want equality of outcome, not equality of opportunity. For the most part.
Exactly.
Not everyone
Or in
needs that, but for the most
situation. Yeah. And again, sports is to me is the easiest analogy to draw, but that's, just across the board with different things. Like there's certain things that are, well, to me, it takes away from, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the right way to put this without going to sound like a complete cunt. But really, to me, like if you believe in strong women and the value of a woman and being able to bring life into the world and all this stuff, like by saying that that's something that you're 100% behind, then you can't be 100% behind the other because they're two completely different things.
They
and
are
at odds with
mutually
each other.
exclusive for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And that goes across the board. So to me, it's funny because like in woke culture and where we are, which to an element I think is needed. I feel like a lot more sensitivity to the people around you, at least out of baseline of respect, is an important thing and something that needs to change in a lot of areas. It has and is continuing to. But then it's the whole baby out with the bathwater, right? It's when common sense starts going out the fucking window over the sake of not wanting to be canceled or not wanting to lose your job because of what the fuck ever. But it's just the hypocrisy that's there is in what's incredible to me. And I think that's what it was all coming around to in my head was people that claim to be pro, like we have a lot of people that, and I'm talking about hyper liberal, like not politically, like I should see progressive maybe might be a better word.
Yep. The progressives and the
woke,
leftists.
as much as I hate the term woke, but because there's people on the fucking like conservative side that are kind of in the same arena that you can't be put all your eggs in one pro something basket,
Sure.
because then you're alienating this other shit that's a complete contradiction with the thing that you're pushing behind. It's like,
Sure.
well, it's like the church being 100%, pro life, until the babies are born, and then fuck those kids, type
Right.
of thing. Like, I never believe abortion's okay. Okay, well, like the women should have to have the babies. What about the ones that are born into a fucking crack den and they're going to be getting molested? Well, are you going to get them out of that situation? No. So it's better for, I don't know, just that whole thing.
Yeah.
And
sure.
so, but one of the most loudly spoken things right now are those are the issues that are the loudest right now, right? Are things like gender fluidity and trans issues, and women's issues are in the forefront right now, and a lot of that stuff. And the people want to scream loud, just as loud for both
Yes.
topics
I mean,
from one side, and they're wrong on one or the other. Like, they're blatantly what the fuck, to me they're completely just they're nulling out their own opinions in my to me. Like, when somebody starts yelling one way or the other and they're not backing that shit up with every one of their viewpoints, then your viewpoints aren't important to me. I guess that's what I was getting at.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the on both sides of the aisle, the loudest people are the minority of that group.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, well,
anyway.
it's like in those regards, like, most of the people, common sense of the people that aren't yelling, about shit for the most part. Because we've said before, if whoever's yelling the loudest, in my opinion, is the most insecure about where they stand. That's
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we've seen that for years and years when it comes to politicians and preachers that speaking out against gay stuff. The ones that are the loudest about it tend to have a little bit of stuff
Yeah.
going on in the closet, or the
100%.
restroom.
100%.
So-
So that's all I was getting at, as I was thinking about, and it was just pissing me off how hypocritical. Because that's one thing. Like, I'm a hypocrite, but I'll fucking tell you I'm a hypocrite. I'm a piece of shit, but I'll tell you I'm a piece of shit. I don't hide it.
So would you consider yourself a TERF, a trans exclusionary feminist, a trans exclusionary radical feminist? Is that what you are? TERF, like J.K. Rowling?
I consider myself a not really give a shit. Like,
Sure.
it's funny. Like, I give a shit, like, for being able to talk about it and rant about it. But when it comes down to the end of the day, am I going to do anything to try to change it? Am I going to go to any protests? Am I going to vote? Am I going to change it? Try to do any? No, I'm not going to do any of those things. Because, like, again, it gives me something to rant about. I hate the concept, but I'm not going to do anything to change that concept.
Sure. I get that. On the flip side of that, though, if let's just say UFC, right? Because it's the most popular mixed martial arts combat sport. It's probably the most popular combat sport, period, right now, honestly. But
Yeah.
But let's just say they did start allowing trans men and
Wait
trans women.
a minute.
to
Are
compete.
you discriminating against fencing?
Well, I don't consider that a combat sport, really. Honestly,
No.
I don't even really consider it a sport. That's more of a hobby. I think that's more of a hobby, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger, I was like, "Oh, it'd be really fucking cool to learn how to fence."
I would love still to learn how to fence, but I don't consider it a sport.
Yeah, until you see people that fence, and you're like, "Yeah, fuck that guy."
No, I still don't consider it a sport. They're just really obsessed with their hobby.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I don't know. It's
Anyway,
like
go
golf.
back,
I
yeah,
love golf, but it's not a sport.
Yeah.
But anyway, so if the UFC decided to start allowing trans men to compete against cis men and trans women to compete against cis women, would you watch those fights?
Out of morbid curiosity, like the first time, yeah.
I think
But
I don't know
after
that
that-
it would just be the first time for me. I love the UFC. We watch all the pay-per-views and
Yeah.
we don't pay
Well,
for them.
I like annihilation. Like, I love,
Sure.
like, a lot of people like fights that go the distance and both people are just fighting their hearts out. Now, I love the fights that are over in like 2 or 3 pops. Those are my favorites, because I'm also not going to pay, whatever amount of money to watch it. But
Yeah.
but yeah, but just for that pure level of just absolute destruction of another human being, fuck yes, I would watch that.
Yeah, I
Doesn't mean I
I
support it, but I'd watch it.
well, I think I support the annihilation and the domination that's going to happen just because it proves the point of this should not have been considered. Right. I mean, but I would 100% still watch. 100% I would still watch it. I mean,
Well, like, to me, it would be similar with now how things are now. Like, one of the things that pissed me off actually when Dana White, well, I should say when it started evolving to where the UFC is now, when they put back in, or so they could actually be regulated and shit. But when
Sure.
they and get, actually views and have a variety of where they can fight. But when they put weight classes in, I was like, nah, fuck this. It's not cool anymore. Because I loved the fact that in the early days you could have a dude that was like a $130 fighting a dude that was like
Royce
280
Gracie, man.
pounds. Yeah.
Royce Gracie beat everybody, and he was, he probably would be considered like flyweight or lightweight or something.
And then when they took away they went to a bracket, or not a bracket style, but like a one fight per card, like more traditional, as when they had a bracket, and you start out with like
you
10
might fight
dudes
3
fighting,
times and 4 times in one night. Yeah.
And fucking bare knuckle, like all that shit. I love the carnage.
I want to say that it was like the only rule was like you couldn't like gouge their eyes out, and maybe
There's
you
no
couldn't.
eye gouging. There's no intentional growing shots, and you couldn't like bite and shit. But
yeah, I think that was it. But
And
if they were knelt over on the ground, you could 100% just punt their head. It was fine.
yeah,
Like,
but you couldn't kick if you had shoes on. That was the other thing. Like if you
I don't think that was a rule in the first
It
one
was.
or two, because I think I remember a guy wearing a guy that was more of a boxer wearing that and kicking somebody, and I don't think it was an issue.
No, that was one of those, if they wore shoes, they couldn't. Maybe that was after the first one they did. But anyway, I just remember like when that big dude beat that sumo wrestler and knocked his teeth in, like that shit was so cool.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But to me, because at the time, that's what represented the Ultimate Fighter, right? Because it was basically putting all these
basically
different
street
people and
fighting,
styles and stuff, and together. Like, was it Tank Abbott? He was just a cage fighter. Was his style that was listed?
Maybe, but I don't remember. I think Tank Tank.
Tank started
out in street fighting stuff, but then he went to the UFC and he couldn't hack it. Like he couldn't.
Right. Well,
he
started with UFC before the regulation and stuff, though. He had a couple fights because he was a crowd favorite bad boy. But no, he never really won anything. He was just fun to watch fight because he would just take shots and take shots.
Street fighting wise, the backyard brawls and stuff that they used to do, like he dominated. But
well, it's like
once
like
you got
Kimbo.
into yes, that's probably who I'm thinking about, obviously, honestly. But yeah, once you got in there with somebody that actually knows Brazilian jiu-jitsu and knows how to use your move against you, street fighting is really no benefit except standing outside a bar with somebody running their mouth.
But it did fucking greatly evolve. I mean, the athleticism of the fighters now is incredible. I just find it a lot more boring because it's like watching, I don't know, compared to how it used to be.
It's definitely boring when you compare it to the way it used to be, but
it's also safer.
It is safer. It's I do think that is an important thing. I mean, they're trying to do it with football. I don't think they care about it. I think they only care about the perception of it. But it is what it is. But
to me, did you ever watch Bloodsport, like the Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Oh yeah, back in when it came out, for sure.
Yeah. So my whole thing was like, to me, it was like an American Kumite. Like it was game fucking on. Shit was awesome. And then
it was. Yeah, but I don't know. There's still that stuff going on. I mean, similar things like that. I think it's probably illegal to do whole backyard brawls at your house.
I know. It was out of the UK, and it might have spread here, but for a while they had bare knuckle boxing leagues that you could watch videos on, and I think it was pretty big in the UK for a minute. But I think
Andre and Roxanne are bare knuckle boxing right now. So, so. I still
three knuckles deep.
Would you get back into watching sports if they just mixed all of the men's and women's sports, like women played in the NBA, or instead of being or even the NFL? Because there's absolutely women out there that could kick my ass for sure, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's just the way it is. And there are men in the UFC that women in the UFC could probably beat them, right? Depending on the scenario, probably it's very few, I think, very few. Mm-hmm. But I can't think of a single woman I've ever seen play any sport or look any particular way that could go across the middle in an NFL game and take a shot from any of those middle linebackers that are in the NFL.
I couldn't. I'm not.
No, I understand that, but I mean, I'm just saying, even elite women athletes, I just don't think they could do it. There's a reality show my wife and I've been watching called Special Ops or something like that, and they've got all these celebrities.
Is it opportunities for special people?
I guess kind of, yeah. But no, there were 16 celebrities that went out into the desert of like Jordan or something like that with people that have been part of special forces in multiple countries, and they're going through this kind of training course and elimination course, and you can stay in it as long as you want, or you can quit on your own, or eventually if you get to a point they may kick you out. But so far they've not kicked anybody out. People have just quit on their own.
Right.
And and there are some elite athletes, male and female, and they cannot hack it.
No.
Like they just can't. And this is a very watered down version of what special forces training really is.
Yeah.
But they just can't hack it. And some of these women athletes who I really thought would have been able to make it have just not been able to do it.
Yeah. Well,
So-
a lot of that's, but 3/4 of that, like if you've met many special ops guys, there's something fucking wrong. Like there's a screw or two loose, but that's where you have to have that type of mental shift
Sure.
to be able to do that shit, and it's not for the average person, even a
It's
watered down
not.
version.
No, it's not. And even one of them on there, when they were interviewing the special ops person was just like, look, you come in here and basically you have to give them your head. They take your head and they put the head that they want you to have back on. And
Yeah.
that's the way it has to be.
Yeah, 100%.
And so, yeah, it's but I would, if they decided to mix sports, I would absolutely watch it for a little while anyway, for sure. NFL, NBA, baseball, and I hate the NBA, but if they started mixing WNBA and NBA up, I'll watch LeBron drop 500 on a team for sure.
Yeah. But no, I don't know. I have a hard time with sports anyways. Like I don't mind taking an evening, like when we went to the Ice Bears games when I was there
Sure.
in Knoxville and stuff like that. But for the most part, like when I'm home, I just don't want to spend time watching shit I don't really fucking care about. And I mean, and that's just where I just don't enjoy watching
Yeah,
sports.
no, I get it.
I've always enjoyed playing sports, I've never been an amazing athlete by any stretch of the imagination, but like I enjoyed playing ball and doing all that stuff, but I just watching it has never appealed to me at all.
Yeah, I mean, I
Except
always
for fighting.
enjoyed-
I miss fighting. I
Yeah,
miss it so
You
much.
should get back into it,
Dude,
we can live stream it.
my knees and shoulders are so fucked. It would be a train wreck.
Dude, my knees and my back right now, like to the point where I have to piss sitting down most of the time now. One back spasm and I'm going to spray the wall like while I'm taking a piss, like in my
Well,
knees
we-
and everything. Like,
Yeah,
it's
well,
just
we
like-
joked about having a segment for a while just called, fights, or fight Steven or whatever it was, and just go find random people that'd be willing to put gloves on
Sure.
and fight me. But-
yeah, for sure.
Because in my brain, I can still fucking throw. Like in my head, I can still handle business. But in reality, like I know practically, I feel like for about 20 to 30 seconds, I could be devastating. But if it didn't happen within that 30
You have
seconds,
to get that one lucky shot early on that just puts them out is really where
Yeah.
where you stand. Yeah.
yeah.
Same-
Well,
same.
even from a technical standpoint, if I could slip it, it wouldn't even be a lucky shot. I'm just saying if I could land any skillful shot, like would be great. But after like 30 seconds, maybe a minute, I'm gassed, man. I'm done. I'm just getting the shit kicked out of me. But but in my mind, I can still do it.
So let me ask you this. If there became a league, a group, a fight, whatever, that was illegal or illegal, it doesn't matter. But it was televised, just say pay-per-views. Because the Barstool Sports does that rough and rowdy thing, and it's just your average people fighting. And
Right.
and it's fun. It's so fun if you watch it.
Yeah.
But if there became one where it was hand-to-hand combat, anything goes, and they were allowed to use weapons, but you couldn't use anything that fires. You couldn't use a crossbow. You couldn't use a gun,
Right.
but you
right.
can use nunchucks, a sai, a sword, a katana. You could do anything but it's just straight up hand-to-hand combat, and like with weapons. Like, would you watch those? Would you pay for those pay-per-views?
Yeah, I would.
I think I would too.
I would. Like to me, like the thought of, and I know they've been romanticized and how everything worked, but like the thought of like the gladiator games back in the day, I'm like, that shit would have been fucking cool. Like, granted, they're being forced to fight, but people that are like willing to go in and we're battling this shit with fucking swords. I'm in. No questions asked.
So how would you feel if they did that with prisoners now?
Oh,
Depending on what you're in for, if you're in there for a minor possession or something like that, no. But if you're, rape, child abuse, child neglect, child assault, whatever, anything like that, or murder, anything like that, how do you feel?
If it was, to me, that would the only way that I didn't even say the only way, but it would have to be a case where it was like a beyond a shadow of a doubt, like there's video evidence of them, doing some shit, you know what I mean? Or somebody that's caught with, like child porn all over the computer. Yeah, fuck those guys.
So what if
Make
we
them fight
only
to the
did it
death.
with people on death row? And the longer you
See,
win,
that's-
the longer you're staying alive, obviously.
Right. Again, the problem I have with that is because if you read through the statistics and articles, there is a more than comfortable or a little more than uncomfortable percentage of people that are there unjustly. Like, there's a
Unjustly
pretty
or
decent-
are not 100% proven.
I didn't even say 100%. I would think like I would even say unjustly, meaning they probably shouldn't be there because of evidence tampering or not enough or circumstance. It's a pretty alarming number if you read. I couldn't give you that number off the top of my head, but
I got you.
it's much higher than I would be comfortable saying, yeah, everybody on death row battle that shit out. But I feel like the convicted ones, that there's hard evidence again, especially people with the, done shit with kids. Yeah, let them battle to the death. That shit would be entertaining as fuck.
All right. So what if they then said to prisoners on death row or life sentences? Let's just include both death row, life sentences,
Right.
Whatever. And they said to you, okay, we're going to do a bracket and everyone in the U.S. is going to be entered into this bracket. We'll test everyone, and that's how we'll seed you to decide who is like ranked number 1 and who's ranked number 100. And obviously we do it like a normal bracket where number 1 faces 100, 2 faces 99, and you do like that. And then, but the winner, you get you're free. You're released from prison. And you have the choice. You don't have to do this. You can choose to do this. You can choose to fight in this bracket. And it's your choice to fight in it or not. But if you win it, you're free. What about that?
Nope.
Why?
Nope. Not if there's a chance. Because you're possibly going to get some sadistic motherfucker that's going to do so much more damage if they get out again. Because the people that are going to win that competition are outside of skill are the people that are fucked up enough to keep pushing through. So, nah.
So what do we
think what
have
it
to
is
do that you're okay with and you would watch?
No, let them do that, but to the death. Like, basically, whoever wins keeps prolonging their death sentence. So in other words, anytime you win, you get to live longer.
Sure. Okay. So no one gets released, but you just don't get put to death.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it would literally become like, so basically take away life in prison and say you can either do this or, you're going to get the lethal injection, in next year. So you can choose. You can possibly live another 10 years.
Ooh, what if we did that? What if we did that at the beginning of every year? Everyone that was scheduled to be put to death that year fights it out. And instead of you getting lethal injection, you fight it out and you die fighting. And then whoever's left standing, congratulations, you get to go on to next year. You'll fight in this tournament again. Or just to give you enough time to recover, because you could really get injured, you get to bump every other year. The winner fights every other year.
Yeah.
So like in 2023, in 2023,
some Running Man shit.
Yeah, but in 2023, everyone fights. The winner doesn't have to go into another fight again until another bracket until 2025. He's still on death row. He or she is still on death row.
Yeah.
But you don't have to fight in another tournament until 2025. And then if you win that, then
I'm in for that. Yeah. I'm on board 100%.
Really, even knowing that there may be some people on death row that shouldn't be there.
Oh, I thought we were still talking about the people that have been unequivocally like.
Well, I don't think that there's anybody in jail that is unequivocally right. They may admit to it, but even they could be lying, right? I mean,
no, I'm talking about the shit that there's like, because there's video evidence of some of these motherfuckers doing shit. Like, that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. Those the worst of the worst. Those are the ones I have less problem. But for me, because that's why, like, I'm pro death penalty, but I'm pro death penalty when there's not a chance.
Empirical evidence.
Empirical evidence. Yeah.
Yes.
And like nothing that could be planted. Like, okay, this guy like was arrested. He has no priors, but they suddenly got this guy and he has like some Polaroids in his fucking trunk. Like, yeah, I'm fine with him being convicted. Yeah, like OJ. but guys that have like photos of them banging kids, yeah, fuck those assholes. Let them fight it to the death in the most painful way possible. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I like that because win or lose, you're suffering.
Sure.
But it's also going to make it to where they're going to fight their black little hearts out. So it's maximum.
Oh,
carnage.
easy. Why does the color of their heart matter?
For rotting darkness in their hearts.
Okay. Well, that's not how it sounded.
I realized that as soon as you pointed that out, I was just like, oh, that was a very poor choice of words.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Because I always say that it's like, oh, it's my little shriveled up black heart. And it has
Sure,
nothing to do
that
with
makes that makes sense, but
right. In context, I understand.
Right.
And I regret my choice of words.
Sure.
Oh god damn it. This
yeah.
is why I hate doing this show with you.
Whatever. If you really hated it this much, you wouldn't do it.
Yeah. I will say monthly like this is way better.
You think so?
I'm still not completely sold on this remote thing. It's not bad. It's not
Sure.
bad, but
Sure.
you know.
But what would you think if it was bi-weekly, like something for the weekend?
Ooh, I don't know if I'd want to commit to that much work.
All right. Yeah, that's what I figured. That's what I figured. So it's monthly seems like the ideal thing for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, but a lot of that's because of the fucking kids, man. Trying to
Sure, I
them
get it.
back and forth, picking them up and dropping them off and all that shit.
I get it. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
anyway,
But I also feel like we have more to talk about in theory going a month.
sure.
between.
In theory, I've got something I'm going to bring up to you after the break. But sure.
Oh,
in theory,
which by the way, in other news, I have gotten pretty goddamn close to quit smoking.
have you?
Yep.
Even closer than when we saw each other last month.
Yeah. I went the last 2.5 weeks without a cigarette. I had a pretty rough weekend. I had 2 cigarettes yesterday, but that was it. Otherwise, and they were terrible. Like I felt like shit. I'm still rocking the nicotine pouches.
Sure.
But
There's nothing
but
wrong
yeah,
with nicotine. Nothing
No,
wrong
but
with
the,
nicotine.
yeah.
Actually, a little bit of nicotine is good for you.
Yeah, right. That's what I think. But no, but I was like, I was
it is.
having a day. I was like, fuck, I need a cigarette. I'm gonna fucking lose my shit. And I smoked it, and the actual ritual of smoking the cigarette was calming a little bit. But because I had
Sure.
smoked it so long, the taste of it and it was fucking I hated it. I didn't enjoy it at all. But I still felt better after I smoked. So go fucking figure.
I had, because I told you the other day, I was trying out some Delta 8 to see if it would help me sleep.
Mhm.
And I just basically started out, like, took 2 hits of it just to see, and it did nothing for me. I felt
Right.
nothing. It did nothing.
Because
And
that's pussy weed.
well, sure, I get it. But I did notice, though, that the actual inhaling of something burning rather than just vapor
Mhm.
was a completely different feel than what I'm used to, 'cause it's been a while since I've had
Yeah.
a cigarette. And
Well,
and so
yes, it's basically we were doing the show at your house when I used to make you smoke.
it's probably been months and months ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny to me, but that's how like trying your vape was for me. Like having something that wasn't smoke hitting my lungs, I coughed like a bitch.
Yes,
That
you
shit was
did.
terrible.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm gonna work my way out. I'm gonna smoke
But-
the rest of my Delta 8 joint tonight, or most of it anyway, and see if that helps me sleep tonight. And if it doesn't, then I don't have to figure something else out. So
Yeah, like weed, like real man's weed.
right, and I may go Delta 8 to Delta 9. And
Yeah.
we'll walk
Hey,
up the
why
numbers,
call it Delta 9?
because that's what it's called, Delta 9.
Stupid.
Look, whatever.
We have to have catchy marketing names for everything instead of just saying fucking weed.
It's not weed. It's like LaCroix weed.
Fair. LaCroix ruined sparkling water too.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, there's still sparkling water out there. It's just if you don't want, which is why what I buy is unflavored. And then if I want to throw a little bit of lime juice or lemon juice in it, I will.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I still haven't done shit. Like I'm getting so fucking fat, especially since I haven't been
Same.
traveling and just sitting on my ass. Because I have an easier time exercising traveling because I don't have anything else to do. So I'll go down to the gym and do whatever. But my watch tells me all the time, it's time to stand. And I'm like, fuck you, watch. I'll sit if I want.
right. Mine tells me every evening about 7:00, a brisk 25-minute walk, and you'll hit your
Right.
exercise ring for the day. It's like 25 minutes is not brisk.
Right. Well, like, it's funny. I go through every now and then. I'm like, you know me. I'm like, I'm just gonna let my hair grow out. And because last year was the longest I've ever let it get. But me and Amanda
I
were
feel
talking
like when we
about
were
it.
teenagers in our early 20s, you let it get kind of long.
Kind of. That was post.
You were like
divorce, though, right?
90s. It was like 90s Rob Thomas long. That's what.
Okay. Yeah, but it wasn't like long. But the last time I grew it out, we were hanging out. Like it has gotten like pretty fucking curly and shit. Anyway, but I look like shit right now. Like I haven't shaved in forever. Like my hair's getting like it's over my ears.
Same.
And I'm getting to the point where people are like, "Are you doing okay? Are you all right?" But I've noticed there is a correlation to like with the status of my mental health, and because it feels like whenever I'm hitting a massive like downhill, I'm just like, I don't think I'm gonna cut my hair anymore. I kind
Yeah.
of like it long.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
I might be
Oh,
changing meds
Jesus.
soon, so that'll be a fun time.
Really?
I might have to take a week or so off from work for that adjustment.
That's funny. You take a
Yeah.
week or so off of work. Good Lord.
Probably a week. Dude, med changes are a volatile motherfucking thing for me.
Sure, I get it.
Yeah. You remember? I don't know if I talked to you about it or not. Do you remember when I had that little fucking episode when we were living in Huntsville and they ended up in a fucking
Yeah, I remember
Irish
hearing
pub
about
in
that.
Lebanon?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one, that's an interesting one.
Yeah. Dude, I gotta say though, how many people, I'm sure there's quite a few, but I mean, I took a goddamn 20, 30 plus Xanax
Sure.
and was
Well, that's
still
what people do. I mean, right?
and
That's
was
what
but I was still restrained from being too aggressive. That's what I thought was awesome.
that. Well, I mean, they were trying to keep you from smoking is the problem, right? I mean,
That
you
was-
said
Yeah,
because
they
that's
just
why
let
they
me have a
put you
fucking
on.
cigarette.
That's why they put
Suicide
you
watch.
on suicide watch, right? Because yeah, you're too aggressive, and you said you were
Yeah.
going to kill yourself because you couldn't have a cigarette.
Yep. Dude, how fucking cool is that fucking license plate that I just sent you a picture of? That's mine. I just got that today.
That's funny. I mean, aside from it that it's a handicap plate, what else is so cool about it?
Well, so in North Carolina, they have 2 levels of disabled plates. One is a
Sure.
full disability, one is a partial. So since
Right.
my rating is a partial disability, I just get the plate to keep from getting tickets, right? It
Sure.
goes a long way with law enforcement down here. And I assumed like Alabama has a disabled vet's plate for not like handicap shit. It's just like it just says disabled vet is all it says on it. It doesn't give you any parking things, whatever. It's so I expected something like that, but I got a fucking plate with a goddamn handicap stamp on it. I was just like,
I see
oh
that, yeah.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and I don't know if that means I can park in a handicap spot. I mean, I won't, but it just makes me wonder if I can.
Why won't you? That's the thing.
Yeah, because like it's that whole like it's one of those weird misguided principles that I have. I'm like, there's people like I
That
want
is
to like
weird.
I want to beat the shit out of people that park in them when they don't need them. Like
Okay.
even if you are handicapped, but you can still walk with no issues, fuck you if you park in one of those spots.
You know, I feel the same way about fat people that use the little scooters in grocery stores. I'm like, the only reason you're doing that is because you're fat, and the only reason you're fat is almost always exclusively because you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's exceptions. Well, you know, it's
There
funny.
is exceptions, yes.
Yeah. Well, Amanda and I have these conversations about different stuff and about especially fat people. She's like, you just hate fat people. I'm like, no, I hate fat people in certain situations when it inconveniences me, like on an airplane.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. Like you can be fat. I don't give a shit if you're fat, but if you're fat and then you're spilling over onto me on a plane, then I have a problem with you being fat. Otherwise, I
Right.
don't fucking care. Be as fat as you want. Celebrate them big bones. I'm fine with that shit
Yeah,
until it
Lizzo.
inconveniences my life.
Yeah, it's
But really, that's how we are with a lot of shit, right? Like,
we
I
are
don't
that
give a
way with a lot of shit. I just hate that being fat now is becoming glorified. Like health, like you can be healthy at any size. I'm like, that's not healthy. You can be not sick, but you're not healthy. You can be like you don't have a disease, but you're not healthy. Right?
Yeah,
I'm not
no,
healthy. Don't
100%.
get me wrong. Look, I'm a fat piece of shit. Like I get that. Like
Yeah.
so I'm not healthy. I'm not in good shape either. Like
No.
'cause you can also be in good shape but be unhealthy, and you can
Yeah.
be very healthy and in terrible shape. But
Yeah.
I'm neither of those.
Right.
I'm just it just is what it is. Like that's the one thing that's made it my youngest son moving in for the time is made it harder for me to eat healthy because there's always someone that supports me and I go, man, I could really use something sweet right now. And he's all the time he's like, me too. You want to get something?
Yeah.
I'm like, hell yeah, I
Yeah.
want to get something. And then
Yeah.
it's a medium Butterfinger Blast from Sonic.
See, I did my kryptonite's fucking cereal. Even though I
Mhm.
have even though I have gotten away from eating super sweet cereal, I still put sugar on the not sweet cereal that I eat. So it's a
Sure.
moot point.
I
You know,
don't eat
granted,
cereal hardly anymore, so
yeah.
that's
And
my thing.
honestly, half of it's the milk. Milk is so shitty for you when you get older.
It is. It affects different people different ways, but it is just a substitute for sugar. I mean, 'cause the lactose in
Right.
it will cause a sugar spike in your body. It's
And as a dude, it can promote some man boobies going on there. But again, just how your body processes shit, dude. I'm rocking the full like bounce. I got the full flipples going like these
I said
days.
something to Chris about that. I was sitting on somewhere we were at a hotel, and we were getting ready to go to dinner, something like that, and she said something about a bra that she had or whatever, and I was like, God, I need a bra, and she's like, No, you don't, and I was like, Look at me, and I was kind of like sitting there, like this, like, look at this. This
Yeah.
is this, like I can almost
Like
turn myself on.
yeah, like I have the dark shirt on purpose because if I'm scrunched over right now, and if I pull this up, it's sitting on top, baby. I got the full line right there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's one of those things though. My personality, like I'm ashamed of myself and how shitty I am, but because of that, I'll flaunt it like a motherfucker just because, like, yeah, let me turn all this humiliation onto myself. I deserve it. I'm a piece of shit.
Well, when we were watching UFC last week, and it was like the light heavyweights or whatever, and they're like at 205, and I was like, you look at those, and those guys look massive. Like Glover Teixeira, he's got a bit of a dad bod going because he's like 42 years old, still fighting or whatever. And I was like, I said, the saddest thing about it is that I weigh more than him. I said, look at him on that screen, and I weigh more than him.
What are you up to now?
Probably about 212, 215
Okay.
or so. Probably
What's
something like
it's
that.
funny, like our fatness is pretty relatable to our height as far as you and I.
Pretty
Like I
close, yeah.
typically, yeah. But for me, like so it's like stripped down to boxers, I'm sitting at about 218. With clothes on, it's a solid like 220,
Yeah,
222.
sure.
And like I weighed at the doctor a while back ago, and I'm like emptying all my pockets and shit. And the nurse was like, it's not gonna help that much. I was like, well, fuck.
That's funny. That's
Oh,
funny.
on another side, I'm about to have to get a fucking CPAP because I'm
Are you?
oh, shit, yeah.
So you're sleep apnea? You're stopping breathing while you're sleeping now?
Dude, they did they did the test, like the sleep test and shit, and the doctor was like, you have horrible sleep apnea. They were like, you stop breathing so much. And I was like, well, fuck. And I also snore like bad. So
I snore bad, but I don't have a sleep apnea. But I
yeah,
snore
no,
bad.
no, I full on like he was like, this is he goes, yeah, you have very severe sleep apnea. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, it's funny is that because Chris and I don't sleep in the same room because I snore so bad. And she's tells me all the time, she's like, go to the doctor, do a sleep study, find out what you can do to fix this. And I'm like, I know what I can do to fix it. Lose weight. She's
Or
like, that's
or
not it. That's
or
not
die
it.
in your sleep. That makes it
Well,
all
what
go
she
away.
said, she said when you and Steven lost all that weight 3 years ago, she's like, you still snored. It wasn't as bad, but you still snored. So you need to go to the doctor and figure out what to do. And she's like,
Yeah.
and if you can figure out what to do, we'll sleep in the same room again. That's fine. Like,
Yeah.
and
then you're
but
like, what if I don't want to sleep in the same
well, no, but
room?
my snoring is so bad that when we go to hotels now, I make sure I get a hotel that has a separate bedroom for her to sleep in and close the door, and I sleep on the couch or whatever
Damn.
of
Yeah.
the hotel because I snore so bad.
It's because you got that promotion money now.
No, it's because it's because I've traveled so much. I have points, so I reached a specific status with one hotel chain that when I get there, I can ask them if they have any upgrades, and they give me an upgrade for free.
Yeah.
So,
dude, that's one thing I'm so pissed off about because I haven't traveled. Like my status, because you know how it works. Like you keep the status, but it starts over, so you only have so much time to maintain.
sure.
And like I haven't gone anywhere or flown, so like I'm like, fuck, I want to, because dude, you know as well as I do, and this is some like white man shit to say, but like, dude, having points and status with hotels and airlines makes all the fucking difference in the world when you travel a lot.
Oh yeah, there's a hotel we stay at in Nashville because it's so close to Vanderbilt that they charge you $36 a day for parking.
Yeah.
But I have status when I go there that I don't have to pay for parking. And so the first time we went there recently and I came out with a parking pass, she's like, how'd that feel having to pay for that parking pass? I said, I'm Diamond Elite. I do not have to pay for parking here. She's like, well, look at you.
Yeah. Well, I feel the same way. Like whenever I'm like getting on to do work or whatever, I'm like, oh, $15 a night internet that's free for me? Yes, please.
Right. Yeah, that's the hotel we stayed at a couple weeks ago in Nashville was like $112 for the standard room, which is like one
Yeah.
queen or two queens or whatever. But the room that I get upgraded to is like a $270 or $320 a night
Yeah.
room, and it actually has a living room, a full kitchen,
Yeah.
and two separate bedrooms
Right.
in it, and I get upgraded to that every time, and it doesn't cost anything. It's just
Yeah.
like, wow.
Do
It's
you
like,
ever
it's
wake up in
so
the morning
nice.
and stretch and be like, I wonder how the peasants are doing in their rooms?
Like, because it's two bathrooms as well, so like she can go and
Yeah.
shower, I can go shower, whatever. It's no
Yeah.
problem. So
Well, dude, I will say because I didn't fly enough, I did take time to buy my own lounge membership with a certain airline. And dude, it's game changing. I will never go back to not to flying like a peasant and sitting in the gate with all the other poor people. Fuck that shit.
yeah, but even then you have to make sure the lounge is close to your gate, or you have to leave there early enough to get to the gate.
It's still better if I have a 2-hour layover. I'd rather sit for an hour and a half and then just have to
Oh,
walk.
yeah, I try to
Yeah.
keep my layovers to an hour or less.
No,
So
I do too. But like for here, like especially flying out of Charlotte, they're doing so much construction and shit here. It can take from the light to just get to the terminal like an hour or hour and a half sometimes. It's so bad. So I'll get to
Oh.
the airport now stupid early sometimes. And that way I can just fucking chill in the lounge. Free food. Well, it's free because you're paying for the fucking lounge, but
Sure.
there's no screaming fucking kid. It's fantastic. I will say though, Delta Lounge is far superior to the American Lounge.
Which
Far
one did
superior.
you buy?
So I had the Delta one for a while and it was fantastic. But because I'm out of Charlotte now, it's an American hub. I fly American. So basically, all my status with Delta went away. And so I paid for the American one. And it's still worth it, even though the reason the American one sucks more is they're not as nice, but partially they allow people to buy day passes, like anyone. If you're traveling and you
Sure.
want to pay $40, you can get in. So it lowers the because like at Delta, you have like a huge food selection, plus you have the free bar, right? So free booze.
Sure.
And you still have the free booze on American, but it's not as good, and the food sucks way more. Like you don't
Yeah.
get whatever.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So do you pay by the month on that, or you pay for a full year up front?
I paid full year up front for the American one. With the Delta, I did the monthly thing just because it was easier. But yeah, the Delta or the American, I just pay all at once. So it's
Interesting.
magical. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
But again, but now I'm like, well, fuck, I don't travel as much. So now I feel like the money's wasted because I'm not. But when I was traveling all the fucking
you
time,
should just
it's
go to the
worth it.
airport and go sit in the lounge, get some free booze.
That's the one bullshit thing about it. Like if I'm flying, say if I had to fly on Delta somewhere, even though I have a membership, I can't use the American Lounge because I'm not flying on the airline that day. That's all the airlines. It's fucking stupid.
That's
Unless you're
crazy.
flying-
That is
unless you're-
strange.
Unless you're flying on a partner airline, you cannot use the lounge if you're not flying the airline, even if you have a membership.
That's stupid. That should be
Yeah.
illegal.
Yeah,
That
it should be.
Yeah. So anyway,
Anyway,
all right.
you want to take a quick break? I
That's
gotta piss
exactly what I
really
was
bad.
thinking. Same. All right. Well, we will be right back in 10 or so minutes, but yeah, hang tight.
You're putting all the shit up, right? I don't have
Yeah,
to.
I got it. Yep.
All right.
All right.
Oh shit, I wasn't ready.
Well, that's on you because you text me and I text you back.
No, I was playing a game on my phone.
Oh, what were you playing?
Art puzzle.
Art puzzle? Jesus.
Yeah.
Gay.
It's fake. It's fake and gay.
So, have you heard about this guy there's this kids park, like playground or whatever, and there's some kids that were like messing with some cars and stuff like that, and they got the park manager to come out and say something to him, and the little one, I guess a couple of the kids walked off or left or whatever, but one kid kept running his mouth to the park manager, an adult man, and started trying, like, he was like, I'm going to call somebody to come get you or whatever, something like that. And the kid started like hitting him.
Mm-hmm.
And
How
then
old was the kid?
He looks like he's like, I don't know, 8, 10. Nah, probably not 8. More like maybe 10.
Yeah.
Ish. And then the man shoved him down.
Yeah.
And then the kid started screaming, child abuse, whatever. And
Yeah.
the man's getting some, but anyway, I wondered if you had heard about this.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Like we said earlier, I don't listen or watch.
I know, but I just did. You're on Twitter and stuff, so I thought you may see some of the. But anyway, so I got a video I'm gonna show you, and it doesn't cover everything. It just really covers a moment of the kid hitting the guy and the guy shoving him down for the most part.
Okay.
But anyway, so give me just a second here.
That actually brings up a question that is interesting. That I'm sure you're on the same page as me.
Go ahead.
Hey, Joey joined. No, I want to see this first.
Okay, here we go.
Who was it that just said shit?
They are messing with cars. He was. And I called him, and then they start cussing, telling him MF you and all this, that, and the other. Yeah. And then, so I told Sean, because Sean runs the place. Okay. So I told Sean to come out here and get this kid, because he just kept running around here and cussing me and all this. I said, you need to tell this kid to get out of here.
Yeah, so anyway.
Nice. If anything saves his ass at all, it's the fact that the kid pushing on him was so
yeah.
My initial thought to the video was when the kid was on him, had he just turned and pushed, then no issue. But because he kind of went after the kid and then pushed him, that's where the issue is going to come.
See, I didn't figure that. I don't view it as him going after the kid. The kid was still swinging at him. He just reached out and grabbed the kid. Like, I get it, around the neck, and then shoved him down the ground.
I didn't notice it around the neck.
I don't have a problem with this whatsoever. If anything, he may save that kid's life because that kid may not buck up to somebody that ends up killing him later on in life.
No, that won't happen.
Well, it may not, but so another. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say. So what ends up happening is the mom comes to get the kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the police showed up too, but the mom's just like, no, we're fine. Took the kid home, and then a little while later posted that video just of the man throwing the kid down, not everything leading up. Because leading up to that, the kid was like, "Fuck you! What the fuck are you gonna do?" And he like sticking his chest out to the guy, like, "What are you gonna do?" The guy's like, "Well, I'm gonna call somebody to come get you.
Yeah,
you can't be here and doing like that."
Because the kid was swinging on him straight up.
Oh yeah. Well, this was even before that. He was like bumping into the guy or whatever. Like, "What are you gonna do? Fuck you, man! What are you gonna do? Fuck you, motherfucker!" Yeah. And anyway, and then as the guy went in, the kid started hitting him, and then that's when the guy shoved him down. I'm perfectly fine with every bit of that scenario. I'm not fine with what the kid did. I'm fine with the way that was handled. I mean, at what point are you supposed to stand there and get hit? That because that was not a tall man. That man was damn near. That kid was damn near eye to eye with him. You know.
And but again, that's where I see it causing an issue for him. Not that I have a problem with him pushing the kid down, but because he pushed him, but going after him might be the wrong choice of words. But there's movement from him pushing the kid forward.
He grabbed the kid and then kind of stepped him around the corner and threw him down.
Right. And I'm saying, if anything, that's what's going to fuck this guy over. But I'm saying, had he turned, and because he was big enough, and he wasn't a tall guy.
No, for sure. He's definitely a bigger strength. Yeah.
if he would have just turned and just like shoved the kid and like sent the kid flying, I've been like, yeah, fuck that kid. But the dude, like, he lost his temper a little bit. I don't think he was in the wrong, but I get where it's going to cause him some issues, the quote unquote going after him part.
Yeah, I think
I'm not saying I have a problem with the outcome. I'm just saying
Sure.
I'm trying to unbiasedly analyze the video where this guy's going to get fucked over.
To me personally, I think what even a better thing to do would have been to said, if you don't stop hitting me, I'm going to put you on your ass.
Yeah, give him a warning.
And
yeah, for sure.
And then if as soon as he hits you again, then you just straight like 2 hands to the chest, shove him back onto his ass. But also think, because you're bigger than him or whatever, you just grab the kid and you pick him up and you go sit him down in a seat. Well, no, I was gonna say you set him down on one of those benches there and you just hold him there until somebody.
No,
I
because
need you to call the police and have the police come.
You can't do that. You can't, because if they're gonna say you molested them or grabbed them, you can't keep your hands on them. Period. Not gonna work. I'm just saying how things are gonna look. That's actually what I was gonna bring up though. Like, at what point or at what age do you think it would be acceptable for a dude, like a grown man, to put a kid's on his ass? Like, if it's a toddler, like 3 years old, coming up and doing that shit, like if he picks the kid up and throws it,
does the toddler bite me or not? If the toddler bites me,
no, I mean,
yeah, I
conceptually,
think
if the kid that old, like, I would have no problem if the guy just turned and like stiff armed the kid and pushed him down. Totally fine. Grabbing him by the neck's a little much, but again, not everybody has that much self control.
Yeah, but I mean, you also in the heat of the moment, you just kind of reach out to push somebody and you get where you get,
But he just didn't reach out to push the kid. That's the thing. He
I
grabbed
disagree
the kid
with you
and
on
went
that.
for him.
I disagree.
No, because the amount of movement between where the kid was on him and when he threw the kid down was a significant distance.
He put his hand on the kid and then he walked the kid away as he shoved him, for sure. But I'm saying
That's not
he
what
didn't move from his point. He didn't move from where he was standing and go after the kid and then put his hand on him. He put his hand on the kid and then he moved away and shoved the kid down.
Right. Well, he pushed the kid, but I'm saying, hey, he's big enough. He could have just shoved the kid and put him on his ass, is my point, without going for the throat. I'm just saying what's gonna fuck this guy over. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm saying he could have just as easily like pushed the kid and put him on his ass without moving. That's my point.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah,
very likely. But at
what age do you think it'd be okay if he would have popped the kid?
If he'd have hit him, like closed fist hit him?
Closed fist hit him. Not full back, not full power, but just like a little bow right in his fucking little face.
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
Because kids are such a wide range of child sizes these days. Like, it's very hard to tell the age.
That was a big kid though.
Nowadays.
That was a big kid coming at him. Like, not massive, but like, what the small kid?
It wasn't a 6-year-old for sure. Maybe he was 10. I don't know. I didn't even read enough of the story to find out how old the kid was.
I would have put the kid at like 12, but still.
Would you?
Is there an age, just size, but is there an age under 18 that would be appropriate to punch a fucking kid?
16 for sure. 16 for sure. You're old enough to drive. You're old enough to take one if you're going to dish it out. Yeah. Personally, but then again, I don't. That's a hard one though, because like there's plenty of kids at 15 years old that are plenty big enough to take that. I'm not saying you should do it. I'm just I went back to the story. The boy's 10. Okay. Man has come under fire for violently pushing a 10-year-old boy to the ground in a park. The boy had been egging the man on for some minutes. Is seen holding his face and screaming.
That was more than he was assaulting. He was assaulting the guy. That was assault.
Yeah. Claiming the incident was child abuse. The viral video has divided social media because when you watch the full version taken by a witness at a park in the U.S., you can see the boy won't give up in his attempts to get the man to react, while some, and that's the thing, is like,
context.
You mess with the bull, you get the horns,
Yeah.
But let's see here. Some said the man was justified in his actions, surprised he lasted so long. Others said that children should never be hit, no matter the circumstances. Well, that's just insane. In a backstory also shared online, it is claimed the child and a friend had been terrorizing other kids at the park at a splash pad in the playground for several hours. The man filming the video was reportedly driving down the street when the two kids cut him off, so he wound down the window and told them off. It's then that the trouble started. when it's claimed the children were throwing rocks at his car and others, trying to scratch them, and were swearing at the man and his wife. The man went to the concession stand of the park and found the guy who was the park manager and asked him for help. And then the park manager told the kids to leave, and they started swearing, then left for a minute down the path, threw down their bikes, and came back for more. In the video, the park manager is trying to call someone for help, repeatedly asked the child to stop touching him or get out of the way. Finally, the man has enough and pushes the boy away at the throat with enough force for him to fall to the ground.
Yeah.
From what I've read and not confirmed, kid was messing with cars. The guy confronts him. Kid acts tough, and this happens.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm going to say fuck his parents first and foremost.
For sure.
The kid obviously hasn't heard no enough in his life. But see, again, the only part I have a problem with is the throat. That's it. That's the only part of it I have a problem
so
with.
it goes on. It says the boy cries loudly, draws even more attention from onlookers. Several witnesses who saw the whole altercation play outside say otherwise and tried to approach the boy to reason with him. At the very end of the video, the boy gets back up and starts swearing and screaming at everyone, even the women trying to help him. "Fuck you, you whore," he says to one woman. We don't know how he managed to stay calm for as long as he did. This kid is out of control, said one person in a post. Another woman commented, "Society allows this, no repercussion for his actions. Children have too many rights. It's time we took them back. This is why we have so many school shootings. Great job, America. Great job." You notice again, the kid is walking away with no punishment whatsoever. So that's just somebody commenting on the video online.
And again, going back to it, I got no problem with him putting the kid on his ass. None whatsoever. The throat thing is what gets me, because you can handle.
Well, he reached out for the kid, and I think you got him where you got him. I think that's it. I don't think he went for the throat. I think he reached out to the kid, and he got him where he got him. That's honestly my take on it. I mean,
yeah, maybe.
Let's see here. A background post stated police came and watched the video and asked the man if he wanted to press charges, but he did not want to press charges. The mother reportedly arrived, and everyone apologized and sorted the incident out until a few hours later, when the mother posted a short clip to Facebook of the man pushing her boy only, with his details, including his name and address.
Yeah,
it's claimed the man was told to post the full video to clear his name and get the true story out there.
Yeah.
So,
and that brings me back to fuck that kid's parents. Like, fuck her for doing this shit.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like there is almost zero reason ever to throw somebody's personal info on the internet for that type of shit.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it happens a lot. I mean, you remember we were talking, me and Matthew and Crystal were talking about this yesterday, like when the whole Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman thing happened, that Spike Lee posted onto Twitter the Zimmerman's address and told people to go get it. And like, you 100% you are liable if something happens to his family. If something happens to him, but especially his wife and kids, if something happens because you doxed him like that, fuck off, man. That is insane.
It was the same thing with the Cecil the Lion bullshit. When
for sure,
like that guy just ruined his fucking life, and that's all that kind of. I have no tolerance for mob justice, with very few exceptions.
Yeah,
very few.
What are your exceptions?
My exception would be if, and again,
if the crowd watching Chauvin choking out kneeling on the guy's back, if the crowd went to him, you give exception to mob justice for that
type of thing. I shouldn't even say mob justice, but I feel like if people would have stepped in and pulled him off, yeah, fine, whatever. No, my thought is like I thought of mob justice is, this is a very specific circumstance, but like if you came around the corner and somebody was fucking with your kid, like molesting your kid, right? You press charges, you do all the right shit, and you can't get hold of the guy, and he gets off scot fucking free. Yeah, hang that motherfucker out to dry. Like, I have no problem with those types of situations.
Yeah, but that's not mob justice though, right? Or are you saying like give his address out?
Yeah, throw it the fuck.
What if he's married with kids? You're endangering them too.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. I guess that's why I said very specific circumstance.
Sure.
Because I think at that point, at least as a dad, like even if I have a wife and kids, I would go to fucking prison for murder if that shit.
Yeah, for sure.
I would have no problem with it.
I guess for me, if he's been tried for something, he gets off for it, and he's married to his wife, and his wife chooses to stay with him, that's it's different. It's like,
I'd have a
fuck
problem
her
if his
for
wife chooses to stay with him, then
Yeah,
he
yeah.
kind of has it
That's
coming too.
which is exactly what I was fixing saying. You're just enabling this, so fuck her too. But the kids is different. If he's got kids that live in
Right.
that house and the mob
No.
shows up, you
Concur.
know,
Concur.
yeah,
That's why I said it's a very specific type of circumstance, but
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm
But
not a big fan
again-
of but cancel culture is mob justice.
No, exactly, and that's what I'm saying. I have a massive issue with it. But on the flip side, you and I are both of the mind that I'm going to handle that shit myself if I need to. Like,
Sure.
I don't need a mob to take care of it. I'll find you and I'll hurt you. I got no fucking problem with that shit.
Yeah, I just yeah. But also when it comes to cancel culture, sometimes it's kind of like, hey, these are the consequences of your actions. You know,
Yeah.
the world turns against you or whatever. But I think we do take it too far. Like there's no path back into the society's good
That's what I was
graces,
gonna say.
which is ridiculous.
It's one of those. It's a slippery slope, right? You can't allow some and then allow none, and
Sure,
because that's not how large groups of people work. Groupthink is a dangerous fucking thing.
sure, it is
So,
for sure.
which actually brings me back to I have a question for you that I thought of while I was taking a piss earlier, and because I thought about it earlier, but I reminded myself when I was shaking my dick. But so, and this kind of ties in a little bit, but because we both grew up in very small towns in Tennessee. And when I was younger, like in the 90s, I wanted to get the fuck out just because it was a small town and there wasn't anything to do. It wasn't because I was like, fuck these people, these narrow-minded bigots. It was very much I wanted to go to do cool things. And
You
got
want
tired of the
more.
same
You
shit
want
too.
more available to you.
right. But retrospectively thinking, like, it was a quaint little town. Like, it was cute. There was like, I understood the appeal of people living there. It was a very stereotypical, like, there's always a dark side. So I'm painting, I understand, with rose-colored lenses, so to speak. But I'm just saying, but at that time, as a whole, not a lot of crime, not a lot of shit, kind of quaint. And then, but going back now, since kind of the crowd cancel culture mentality and the fragmentation of politics and how hardcore like left and right is against each other, now it's just kind of a shithole. Like, I feel like the people are so much worse than they were when I was there when I was younger. Like, I hate going back there now because
okay, that's not where I thought you were going with this.
no. So it's gotten to where now, instead of being any type of nostalgia when I go home, I fucking dread it because I hate the people that live there. I hate, they're the fucking worst.
You know, if I breeze right into town and go to my dad's house like for Christmas or something like that, that doesn't bother me so much.
Mhm.
But if I've got to bounce around town, or if I run into somebody I know
Right.
from back in the day or whatever,
I guess
yeah,
I just know,
don't
has
like
your
that.
perspective changed on your hometown from when you were younger going back and going now in the state that society's in and how polarized shit
Yeah.
is?
Well, I mean,
Like, I'm not
I've
gonna lie.
been
Sometimes,
jaded toward my hometown for a while because there's just, I don't know, bad
Right.
memories. There's good
Yeah.
memories too, but bad memories. But it's just like, it feels like time just slows down when you get there. Like,
See,
just
it's not
comes
even
to a
that for me.
screeching halt.
But I mean,
for me.
there's times, like, I'm not even gonna lie, dude. There's times I don't like being able to say I'm from the South. Like, I really don't, because of the connotations that go along with it. Like, I dislike it so much.
Well,
And it's not because of conservative politics or liberal politics. It's because just how the majority of people have become so, like, I guess the people that I know that I grew up with have been so pro just fucking bullshit. It just pisses. I just stay mad. I just stay mad the whole
sure.
time.
I don't mind at all. I guess I shouldn't say proud or not proud to be from the South, really. But it's like, I do like not being your stereotypical Southerner. I do like when people are around me and be like, "Oh, you're not like this, what we think
Yeah.
of the South at all." Like,
Yeah, for
so
sure.
I do like that. So,
Yeah,
you
I'm
know,
just saying,
but
like, you know how like ragey I get. Like, I'm a very
yeah, for
rage-filled
sure.
motherfucker. So the shit
Yeah,
comes
for
out for me.
sure. I think, you know, I don't know, because you've traveled around the US a lot. I've traveled around the US a lot. It's people just as bad
Yeah,
in
for
all
sure.
parts of this country as it is in the South. Like, we don't have the market cornered on racism or
No,
ignorant
no.
politics. You know, if we
But
just don't.
just But so I guess I should say small town America has gotten really, really bad.
Yeah, the good old
But as far as
boy mindset and that kind of stuff, I don't like that for
But I mean,
sure.
these are the
Yeah.
but I mean, and it was different. It didn't bother me then, but these are the same dudes that, were calling me a fag growing up just because I had a lip ring and I had tattoos and I didn't like trucks and sports but that doesn't bother me. Like that never really did. I don't know. It's just I don't know. I don't quite know how to verbalize it, but it's a very different experience for me going home now than it was even a decade ago. And I feel like a lot of it is just because of how fragmented like people have really dug into whatever their political or spiritual beliefs are. Like it's gotten so unmoving in certain areas.
Well, and one thing I'll say about my situation that may be different from yours is that because you have my immediate family, and then you have David, and then you have like Jessica. As far as our family goes, we're really progressive compared to the most of the rest
As
of
a
our
whole.
family.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
like me, Jessica, and David, as far as the siblings go, we're very progressive compared to the rest of the family.
Right.
And so that has, over the years, kind of lightened the rest of the family, where they still have some of those
That makes
traditional conservative hardcore beliefs and opinions, but as far as their acceptance of other people's opinions and going, we can agree to disagree on stuff, whatever, that has greatly
yeah.
changed. And I think I think it's because of my family and then Jessica and David. I think so. I don't quite have the same experience that you have going back to that small town, but I also try to breeze in and breeze
Yeah.
out as quick as I can. So I get where you're coming
Yeah.
from, and I
That's true.
agree with you.
And but I've also gotten to where I have a lot, and again, it's not I know this comes out political or belief system standpoint. Really not. I've just gotten less tolerant of intolerance, if that makes sense. Not from a woke perspective, but like I don't even like they'll start talking about stuff, and it's not like I can have a conversation about it. It's not like, oh, I hate my family because they support this or that. That like they can support the fuck they want, but the fact that there can't be a conversation about it without it being this thing,
Sure.
more than angers me, it just annoys the shit out of me. And me, annoyance and hatred go very,
Yeah,
very close to each other.
I don't like that either. The intolerant, being completely intolerant for me, either side of the political or
That's
social
either way.
spectrum. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I don't like, I know,
I enjoy causing chaos with it, but I don't enjoy being submersed in it for very long.
yeah, my mom's husband one time said, he was talking about somebody Olivia was dating, and it was something I said. It's something about him, and it's not the guy she's dating now because I do like him. But there was something that I said something about the guy. I was like, it rubs me the wrong way. And my mom's husband was like, it could be worse. He could be a Muslim. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Why does that? Why does just the religion make it mean it's worse? Like, honestly, like,
Yeah. And I think honestly that's where it comes from. It's not even political ideals. It's just it's the religious thing. The older I've gotten and the more like I'm almost
well, no,
I
his
don't
was
want
a
to say
completely
anti
political thing because it was like Muslims want to kill Americans, and so that's like
right.
all Muslims, whether you're born
But
here or not,
that's
want to kill. Part of
that's
it is
still
religion for sure,
that's
but
still religious. Yeah.
but that's the right wing political side of things. It's it could be worse.
Yeah.
It could be Muslim, not
Yeah.
it could be worse. It could be a non-believer, like for instance.
But
Then that's more religious
yeah.
thing, right? But
But
but I have the same amount
yeah.
of hatred for that as I do if for someone saying a man can't speak about abortion issues, or saying a
Right.
person of a race that's doing better than most Asians, white, Jewish, whatever, aren't allowed to speak about race issues because they don't experience it. It's
Right.
like that's insane. Like
Right.
anyone can speak about anything because everyone has a perspective. And that's where the diversity of thought is where you actually progress in a country. So
Right. And that's when I say intolerance, what I mean, not
sure,
like
sure.
culture intolerance for any other echo chamber that you fucking put yourself in. And that's one thing
Well,
I
I mean,
will say about I was say one thing about either one of us, but you as well, is we're both open. Like I'm always open to have my mind changed. Now, granted, you're gonna have to give me some a different angle than I've heard a billion fucking times before. But if you have something different to say I haven't heard, I'll fucking listen all day long. Like I'm all about it.
Sure.
But
I'll
I don't know.
even listen to you to an
But the
extent
trick's
if I have heard it before, or if I disagree with you, if you're not changing my mind, I'll at least listen to you for a little bit, But anyway,
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
But I feel like I have the same loathing for conservative Christian voices as I do for overly progressive people that want anybody that's trying to push their shit onto other people. I can't fucking stand it.
Yeah.
Period. Doesn't matter which side
Yeah.
it's on. So I
Yeah, I like some of the. Love seeing. There's a group called the Good Liars. I think there's a
Mhm.
couple of guys, and they're on social media or whatever, but they go to different rallies. Now they primarily target, if not exclusively target, right leaning and Trump rallies, right? But
Right.
it's funny. And Jordan Klepper's another one that I like some of the stuff that he does. But they go out there and they're like asking people like, what is your problem with kneeling during the national anthem? Whatever. It's like, you don't disrespect the flag. And like, you know what? You're absolutely right. You shouldn't disrespect the flag. Like, that's part of the thing. And they read this document from back in way back, probably in the 1700s, 1800s, or whatever, that the founding fathers had written or something like that about the flag. Like, you don't alter the flag, you don't change the flag, you don't do blah, 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 or whatever. And they're like, yeah, 100% you shouldn't alter the flag. And then they just like grabbed one of their flags that has like Trump's logo on it or whatever. And it's like,
Right.
I love that kind of I love the shit like that when people
Right.
do that, but I like it on both sides of the aisle. But
Oh, for sure.
But
I also like, that's one reason why I don't agree with 3/4 of what the asshole says. Like, I actually think he's a piece of shit. But one thing I love is about Steven Crowder. Like, I love watching this change my mind shit because I like watching him destroy ideologies of people that aren't educated or informed about what they believe. Like, I love seeing that devastation and both sides. Like you said, those guys that go out and troll the shit out of hardcore right-leaning people. I'm like, you guys, you've built your whole belief system on emotion and how you feel about something with zero fucking logic in it whatsoever.
well, I mean,
And I love seeing people like that getting just fucking obliterated. I love it.
well, we also, so this came up for a moment on something for the weekend earlier. Andre was asking about the this guy's Tyree, the guy in Memphis that was beat
Yeah.
to death basically by these cops or whatever. And he, Andre was asked, like, does it make a difference that the cops were black? And I think, for one, I think it will make a difference in the types of protests we see. But I also think that it's oddly quiet. All of the Blue Lives Matter people are oddly quiet right now, and that's the kind of shit that I hate.
Yeah.
That
Well,
kind of
it calls
stuff.
out the hypocrisy to a new fucking level, regardless of anything. I don't know. And that's what I couldn't think of any, like, how to reply at the moment. Cause again, I'm the most uninformed person as far as politics or what the fuck's going on in the world, because I adamantly don't like engage in the news and shit unless I accidentally see something. But
Well, but I think
what I was
that
gonna-
gives you a unique perspective that's actually one that people should hear, because you have a completely unbiased opinion on it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
it's
what I was gonna
biased by your life, but I mean, it's not biased by political leanings.
And I think kind of alluded to this after I pressed that a little bit. I was like, it doesn't change the atrocity, but it changes the perception of the atrocity to the American
Sure.
people. That's the only difference in my eyes. Like, it's shit and it's atrocity no matter what. But the biggest travesty is the perspective it's going to be taken as opposed to the action that was shouldn't say the bigger travesty. I mean, from a societal standpoint, it's fucking shit that it's going to be skewed one way over another, when the action should be how much of a fucking piece of shit whatever cops were that perpetrated the offense.
Yeah, it's a rough video. I watched the part of the video where they're beating the guy, and it's a pretty rough video. One cop like is spraying the guy with pepper spray, and I think it gets in the cop's eyes, which I think is funny. And the guy had to walk away from him. And they're at that point, they haven't really even started really beating the guy yet. They're just
Right.
trying to get him to the ground and get him cuffed and whatever. And
Yeah.
that guy has to walk away, like regain his composure, because he's had pepper spray in his eyes. And you're seeing his body cam, like you're
Yeah.
seeing from his body cam. And all of a sudden, he starts walking back towards him, and you see his hand go down and his baton swing
Yeah, 'cause
out.
he's pissed. 'Cause
And he
he's angry,
walks
he's
over
mad.
there and he starts beating the shit out of the guy. And even one of the cops at one point says, "I'm fixing to baton the shit out of you." And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's very close to Rodney King.
Yeah,
So
well,
the way that was.
what kills me about shit like this or that or any situation is the fact that in those moments, like, normal citizens legally have zero ability to retaliate.
Yeah.
Like, because you can see that kind of abuse of power, and if you step in, you're fucking going to jail, or
Yeah,
you're
for
going to
sure.
get beat or shit, and there's going to be no consequence. Like those cops, after review, they'll probably lose their jobs. Sure. There might be some other shit, but it's not going to be anything remote. They might go to jail even, but still, that doesn't change the fact that they beat a fucking guy to death. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
for sure.
it's unequal. And in that moment, like with what's the guy's name that dude was kneeling on his neck? I keep forgetting. Like that dude, one of the
Chauvin.
guys, like two of them went to jail, but the other guys that were just standing around watching, they didn't fucking like they got in trouble. But ooh, big deal.
Right, right.
You know, but the thing is there's a crowd there, and they're powerless to do anything because they know if they do, the same's going to happen, or they're going to have because for quote unquote assaulting an officer, which is or obstructing justice, whatever other bullshit thing they want to throw at them. So what gets me pissed more than anything is there's no equal type of retaliation that you can take against that type of
Yeah, I mean,
brutality.
it almost needs to go. Honestly, the citizens need to treat it the way it was treated back in the Wild West. I mean, honestly, it's like, very much everyone there when George Floyd's getting knelt on by Derek Chauvin to the point of dying. All of those people there talking and saying like, "Hey, get off him, get off him." They outnumbered the police. They could have taken the police. Now, the police might have killed one or two of them, might have shot one or two of them before, but they're not going to get them all. And that's the thing is like that whole scenario. I mean, is like at some point you're going to have to. Now, the slippery slope of that is that how often would there be a mob of people going after the cops for something that they don't need to go after the cops for? Just because now it's become a fuck the cops. All cops are bad.
Yeah. But even then, okay, so those mob people go in to stop this, a couple of them die. But how many of them couldn't afford that because they have kids or they have families and people to take care of? And I understand at a certain point, justice in certain situations is more important than your life. But in the moment when you've got people to take care of or risking getting arrested and going to jail and losing your fucking job, if that's pain, like it's like there's no even with a body cam on, right? And seeing all that shit, how internal investigation goes is a fucking nightmare anyway. But say one person had stepped up and knocked the fucking dude out, he's still going to jail. He's still like they may drop charges, but it's doubtful. Like that one guy that steps up is fucked for his life only because he did the right thing. Nah, fuck that.
I think nowadays, though, I don't know that you would be screwed for life in something like that. I think there's
in the legal system you will be.
I don't know.
At least for a while.
Maybe for a little while for sure. But at that point, you can sue. I mean, right? And you can gain some of that back. I think. I don't know.
But
I think.
But how? Serious. But though, depending on where you're at and where your status is and where you're at, like job wise, how long could you go without employment and still be able to pay your bills, still be able to take care of your kids, still be able to do this? Are important that justice. You might get money and shit 2 years from now, 3 years from now when all of it settles. But if you go to jail and you lose your job and all that shit, how are you going to sustain your family for like 2-3 years while that shit stretches out in court?
I get it. Yeah. But again, it goes, you said it earlier, like, what's the greater good? I mean, at some point, and I hate to say this, I really do hate to say this because it makes me sound like a young idiot, but at some point, police, and I get it, there are absolutely good policemen out there. And you know what? If you're a good policeman, fucking step up and start putting this shit down. And you're going to have to call your own and quit this whole back the blue. If that's your brother in blue, you got to back. No, you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, but the police need to be scared that if they do something like this, the citizens are going to kill them. I honestly believe,
or at least have a situation, the fact that there's no administrative leave while this gets investigated for the next year, and you're still getting a full paycheck. Like justice, if it's on camera like that shit, justice should be swift. Like you're out of the job, you're on your ass, you're in jail. It's not this long drawn out thing. And if it's a situation like this, okay, we released body cam footage. How long did it take them to release body cam footage for this incident?
Well, the incident was on January 7th. They released body cam footage Friday night.
Okay, so that's not too terrible, but still,
it's 20 days.
20
days, yeah.
That's way too fucking long. As soon as that shit gets reviewed and you see that, like, nope, you guys are fucking out the door. There's no like discussion or panel or board to discuss. Well, was this reasonable use of force? It's obviously not. There's no debate, but it still takes 20 days to release that shit and decide what you're going to do with him. That's insane. That's fucking insane. Yeah. And like I said, I'm not, I've said this because I was pretty fired up. This has been a while ago. It was after like all the riots and shit. And but like I'm not pro destroying businesses, but I understand rioting mentality. When you feel like you're trapped and you're angry and you're scared, like I get it. I feel like that shit should be more turns like burn down the fucking police precincts than, you know,
Sure.
under business. But again, when you get mob mentality and shit's out of control, you know, whatever. But I understand where that anger and rage would spill over. You know what I mean? I just feel
Sure.
like but with crowd mentality, and that's one of the problems with it. It's never a focused, pointed thing. It's not like, okay, the police are the issue. We're going after the fucking police. We're going after the municipal buildings. We're going after this. It's like, no, it's like this shit just is like wildfire. It goes from the center and just goes out with no fucking direction whatsoever. And I think, but that's the problem with mob shit.
Sure.
So anyway,
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I get it. I just, yeah, I don't know.
hey, Lothar, whoever wants
That's what I
to
was
offer
gonna say.
promotion for a
Yeah,
channel,
promotion of your channel, viewers, followers, views, chat bots. The price is lower than any competitor. The quality is guaranteed to be the best. Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that. Yep.
So if you're watching and didn't just jump on and post this, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, incredibly flexible and convenient order management panel. Everything is in your hands.
Yeah.
Turn it on, off, customize.
So yeah. So
Yeah.
there you go, people. But you know, fuck you, dude.
Yeah. Go to dogehype.com.
Yeah. And
So
yeah,
anyway,
whatever. Let's get off. I want to get off this topic now.
well, that's fine. We're getting close to our normal time anyway. So,
You're
yeah.
kill-
What
you're killing my mellow, bro.
is that? What it is?
Good.
What what do you think about all the shit
Jesus.
with Elon Musk and buying Twitter and all that stuff? I feel like I asked you that before, but we didn't really talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny that
Don't
so
care.
many people that were 4 years ago loved him and were praising him now are against him. Like, I hate this guy or whatever. Like, he's not done anything different. He just bought your favorite social media app.
Yeah. And has it gotten worse?
No.
No. Has it gotten better? No.
I
There
mean,
are people on there you don't want to hear talk.
yeah, there are
it's
some
whatever.
things that have gotten better, like the way you can customize your feed and the way what was the other thing? There are less bots on there now. There's still bots
Has he
on there, but there
added?
are
Have
less.
they added an edit button? No, they
I don't
haven't.
think so. I don't
Fuck
think
Elon
so.
Musk.
No. Right.
No, it's
Yeah.
one of those things, man. Like I use social media. Don't get me wrong. I like it just fine to a point, but at the same time, like I don't fucking care. If Donald Trump bought fucking Facebook tomorrow, I don't have Facebook. Donald Trump buys Instagram. Is it going to stop me from using
Sure.
Instagram? Nah, I don't care.
Right.
If who's let me see. So if if Bill Cosby bought bought a social media platform that I use, TikTok, I don't fucking care.
Right.
I don't give a shit. If Weinstein bought one of them, I don't fucking care. If I want to use it, I'll use it.
Oh God.
Well,
Oh, well.
but that's the thing, right? Is people like to target people in authority or people that have power or people like this. And yeah,
Sure.
some of those guys might have problems, but it's the people that you support that have the same shady shit going on in the background that you either refuse to acknowledge or don't believe can be there because you idolize this person.
Sure.
That's I don't understand that amount of hypocrisy. Like the whole thing, like the with Epstein and his little kid sex island or whatever it was. Like they're regardless of political affiliation and lines and celebrity, so many people were going to that shit. You can't necessarily prove they did anything, but people will justify whatever side they have ties to that person and point at the people
for
whose
sure.
sides were there. It's like, they're all pieces of shit. Everyone at that level of politics and power are all fucking pieces of garbage. Nobody
think
wants
so?
to believe it.
You think nobody that
I
gets
th-
to that level is clean?
No, God, no, not even a little bit. I don't think it's possible. I think they start grooming you when you're a younger local politician, and when you start moving forward, shit's fucking, you get put in the place.
But do you believe that even for anything, not just politics though, but for the movie industry or the film the music industry or anything?
I think you get to a point that you, in those situations, that maybe you just become calloused or numb or just accept that it's part of the gig. Like for a while, like let's take Weinstein for example, completely inexcusable, all the shit that he did, but it was accepted by a lot of younger starlets coming up that that was the price that they had to pay to get to where they wanted to go. It was an accepted thing, right or wrong, it was accepted.
Sure.
And right or wrong, a lot more people knew about it than they say. There's the whole casting couch cliche is a thing for a fucking reason.
Right.
You know, that
Right.
shit happens and maybe less now, but I don't know. I feel like that in any of these situations at an industry, you just if you want to stay there, you accept what's around you and you keep your mouth shut as part of the business.
Yeah.
And you speak
Yeah.
out
I
when it
think so.
behooves you.
Yeah.
And
I
as
mean,
culture changes,
yeah.
as culture changes, what you can speak up about changes.
Sure. I agree. Oh well.
So
What's it been like having your daughter move in with you?
that's been all right. It hasn't been too terrible, but I feel like it's been like what 2 weeks now.
Has it only been
3.
that long? I can't
She's still
remember.
on,
Okay.
she's still a lot on her best behavior, I think. So a lot of the bullshit hasn't kind of come to fruition. She's already gotten grounded, you know, for one
Oh
thing.
yeah.
But
What'd she do? You don't want to say?
so no, we live like a block and a half from the school she goes to,
Mm-hmm.
and I was trying to give her a little independence, let her walk to school. But the only requirement was you text me when you get there. Yeah, I see your location. I know when you're there, but you need to be responsible. You text me when you get to school. You
Sure.
text me before you leave. Well, she didn't text me one day when she got to school. So I was like, no, you from now on, like no more exceptions. Then the second day, the text didn't go through because she'd been having problems texting and texting is going
Ah.
through. So we had to talk, and I told her, I was like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all. Hello, or however, I work in tech. I understand some glitches can happen. So I don't believe you, but I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. Next day, didn't text. I was like, all right, you lost your phone. You're now walking with me to the front door every day to school. So I said, or you're riding the bus. I said, from now on. So she lost her phone. Everything was completely blocked and locked out except for calling or texting family. So no friends, none of that shit. Took the power cord off of her computer because she obviously doesn't know how to use technologies. And
Sure.
then yeah, now I've been because it's like I said, it's just down the road. So I've walked her to the front door to school every day, and I pick her up from school every day. She hates it so much, and I was like, "You lost your privilege. Like you had it was a very clear expectation." And
Yeah.
I'm a fan of punishment fitting the crime, right? Like I'm not gonna take away all your favorite shit. It's like no, I'm gonna like it's gonna be related directly to what you keep fucking up with until this behavior changes. You know,
Yeah.
so. And
Okay.
you know, and she also there's a library right there, and I'll be like, you can go to the library, you just have to text me and let me know. I was like, no, now you can't go to the library. Congratulations.
You can't learn.
Right. And so it's just and it's a lot of it's just her pushing boundaries and you know, doing what a 14-year-old does type of thing. But it's
Sure.
okay otherwise. You know, it's been good. I think long term it's gonna be really good for her
Sure. I think so
emotionally,
too.
you know, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So but you know. But again, I haven't had the full on like. Well, she tried to pull an attitude once, but you know me, I stomp on that shit quick. I don't do the. I'm not going to argue with you. You're 14, you know. So I just grabbed her by her throat and pushed her on the ground.
Well, as long as you didn't go after her, you just grabbed her throat and pushed her. You're fine. Yeah.
Fine, it's totally fine. No, we yeah. So it's been good though. It's been all right.
It's also probably been a little bit easier though because you haven't had to travel any over the last few weeks, really. So
yeah.
that's
The
helping, I'm
hardest
sure.
part, honestly, is just I like. And we've talked about this and so, but I like my house to be fucking quiet. Like when I'm home, I don't like noise. I don't like all this other shit. But not being able to have
Interesting.
that aspect. And she's quiet. Don't get me wrong. Like she likes that quiet too. But just that clinginess of Dad, what are you doing? Hey, Dad, come do this. Hey, Dad, come do that. I fucking hate that shit so much. Like every now and then, yeah. But she's like, you know, she's like, Dad, I want to show you something. I drew this, whatever. Fine, cool. That's awesome. But like when I'm in here working and she's in here every 15 minutes going, hey, Dad, what you doing? How's work going? What's going on? What are you doing there? And that's subsiding, right? That cleanliness is kind of going down, but that's the part right now that's driving me fucking crazy.
Right. Yeah, I get it.
Anyway,
I get it. Yeah. It's I will tell you, I absolutely love working at home. 100
Yeah.
like I feel like I get so much more done because no one can just kind of drive by my desk and ask me questions about anything. Like you
Right.
actually have to go out of your way to call me or whatever. But I 100% love working from home. It's so much better.
See,
And I don't
I-
have an issue putting work down when it's time to put it down either.
Yeah.
So
But see, that's the difference between my job and your job because I travel for work. Most of my work at home revolves around my trips, like paperwork, getting things done, writing reports. When I'm home, I got fuck all to do if all that shit's done. So I have a travel drink. So I have some shit I'm keeping myself occupied with. But as a whole, like they're like, well, you should keep yourself occupied during the day. And I do not believe in the if you have time to lean, you have time to clean bullshit. I'm like, no, I'm having to make shit up that I'm doing because I'm not doing fuck all.
But there's
if
nothing
I don't
else
have
that
anything
you
to
can do and that you could create that actually is the going above and beyond that gets you maybe a better raise or a bigger bonus or anything.
Dude, you know as well as I do, going above and beyond for the like doing my job very well for anybody puts you above and beyond everybody else. Like, no, I don't believe because you're a number, you're a fucking number to your company. And I believe in doing a great job and I do the best I can. And if I see a need that needs to be done, yeah, I'll step up and take initiative. But like I've been working on like my downtime, I've been working on some like professional certifications, right? And so that'll benefit the company from the education, but it benefits me more than it does them as a whole. But no, like above and beyond's a weird, like I used to really believe in the above and beyond thing. And I've really let that go. Like I think of going when the situation calls for it, yeah. But just looking for ways to do extra work for less for the same money, nah, not at all. Not at all.
Well, no, I
Because
get
they
that.
don't
But like
care.
my
They don't
company,
fucking
I work for a company that
care.
that recognizes that kind of stuff, and it will show up in your bonus structure and your raise and things like that. So when I have down,
yeah. Well, I'm with that to a degree because we have the same thing. We have performance-based bonuses and you know, it's like in merit-based raises and shit. So yeah, to a point, absolutely. But I'm talking about like some people, they're above and beyond. They'll spend extra hours doing shit. And I'm like, no, fuck that. Within reason, yeah, above and beyond is a great thing. Like I believe in improvement. And if I see a need that needs to be improved and nobody else is doing it, absolutely I'll step up and do that shit. Because you know,
do you work towards your next step, whatever you want your next position or your next step to be? Do you work towards that in your current step?
No. I work more towards what's going to benefit me if I lost this job.
Oh, I see.
And so therefore that puts me in a step to do that. And I'm an opportunist. So if I see, hey, this job's coming open that I want, yeah, I'll do what I need to do to get there. But most of my self-improvement is for my own benefit. So like me finishing up my bachelor's, right? That puts me in a position that if a position comes open that needs that, I have it. But I don't have my eyes specifically set on the next step in my career. My goal is if something happens and what's that?
I said, that's interesting. I do. Like, I know what I want my next step to be, and I'm working towards it.
Yeah. My next step is whatever makes me more money. That's
well,
the end
for
of my
sure.
goal.
I mean, I get that, right? But I mean, I could be pushed in another direction for the right position, right money. But I know what I want my next step to be, and I'm working towards it right now. So
yeah. See, I don't, and I don't care. Like my whole thing is like, again, opportunist. If there's a position that I think that I can get, I'll absolutely work towards it and think ahead. But I'm realistic enough to know that if I hit a wall and I can't go anywhere I want to go, I want to have the shit that I could go somewhere else and make more money. Like that's
oh no, I agree with that. I agree with both of those scenarios. Like that's like for me, I know myself, I'm 2 steps away from a company car, right? And so that's what I know where I want my next step to be so I can get to that point before I'm too old to enjoy it. But I'm like, I want my next step. I want to be in the role that my boss is in. Right. So I'm working toward that. Right.
See,
now.
I want maximum money, least responsibility. That's the ultimate goal.
But that's just in most cases not reality, right? That's just not
very, very, very true.
Yeah. So
but the job for my step up to this one I have way more responsibility and stress now because like even though I'm salaried and I don't have a 9 to 5, like I have to have my phone with me unless I'm on vacation. Like I'm taking PTO, I'm expected to have my phone 24/7.
I got you,
which is within reason, but my boss's job is even more demanding than that.
Yes,
I'm like, nah, I don't want any part of that. If I can make a living and be cool with where I'm at, I have no aspirations to move up.
Sure. I get it.
So it's all about money.
Well, yeah, but moving up gets you the money.
Yeah, not always though. Moving up job wise,
most of the time it gets you the money, right? Yeah, promotions get you more money, right?
Yeah, promotions get you more money. Right. So do you have? I know we're running over now. Do you consider company loyalty to be a valuable thing? Or nowadays, is it a valuable asset to have?
I don't know. Loyalty? I know it doesn't feel like it is in my company. It feels like it is on my team, but overall in my company, it doesn't feel like it's a valuable thing. It feels like it's considered, but it's not put a lot of weight in it. Because you still
I think
can
that's
make
right.
more
I
money
have-
if you're coming from outside than being promoted from within here.
Right. Well, see, like I'm kind of the same way. I have departmental loyalty in the sense of like I'm part of a team. I want
Mhm.
everybody to do well. I want everybody to succeed. But at the end of the day, if I get an opportunity that's going to pay me double what I'm making now, but then the company loyalty comes into the play for me. If okay, I have other options. Are they going to treat me as well as this employer does?
Sure. No,
Right. But I
get
think
that.
that's the mindset we're in now, right? Because gone are the days of the company taking care of you with a pension and really looking out for you
Sure.
and rewarding you for staying long term. There's no reward other than your 401k or some shit filling up. Like the company doesn't reward you for longevity anymore.
Yeah, that doesn't
the most
happen
part.
as often for sure, especially in big
Yeah.
corporations for sure.
Right.
But I mean,
'Cause at the end of the day-
loyalty is important to me. Like I'm very loyal to the company I work for. Like it would really take a lot for me to leave this company.
Yeah.
But whatever.
And I'm loyalty to my company in the sense of like the benefits are great. They treat me well. I mean, it's a great situation to be in for sure. But I mean, also if they fucked me over, I have no problem being like, all right, deuces. You know what I mean? Like I don't have that. Well,
Sure.
they made a mistake. They'll make it right.
Well, it's an interesting thing
None of
because
that, like,
because
money
I
talks.
learned of a little over a year ago of a quote mistake that my company made regarding my pay, and not so much mistake as in they've been shorting my check, not that, but I didn't when my position when it progressed and took more responsibility on and they started hiring more people to do what I was doing at the time, those people were getting paid more money and then I was getting paid. So my pay had not scaled. And so I brought it to their attention and they made that shit right. So
Yeah, well,
like,
good.
yeah. And that's
good.
like, so for me,
But
it's
I've
like,
seen the opposite happen too. It's
no,
like, well,
I
that's not what we're gonna do.
100%. I that happens to people frequently in companies, but I know just based on my experience, I've not had that happen to me in this company.
Right.
I've
Well, that's
been
what I'm
treated
saying. So the
relatively
fact
well.
that they
So
made it right, then that's a good thing. That's 100%
sure.
worth hanging around for because that's not a normal thing. And I applaud you for that, sir. But I do feel like if you'd have gone in and be like, yeah, sorry, that's just how the shit is. Like if I were you at that immediate moment, I'd be like, all right, fuckers. And then I'm going to do the bare minimum of my job so I don't get fired until I find something better. And then I'm
yeah, I
fucking
think I would have
juiced.
done the same thing. I mean, but who knows until I'm put in that position. But
Well,
but
it's like
anyway.
I've told people before, like I'm an opportunist. If something legitimately better, I'll weigh pros and cons, and I'm a logical motherfucker. But for me, it's all about that opportunity. And granted, I've grown, and you've seen this as my career's progressed. Like I've taken more responsibility and whatever, but I've always taken a job that I haven't been fully qualified for, and then worked to the point where I was qualified for it.
Yeah,
and then,
for sure.
upgraded. But I don't think
Yeah.
I'll be outgrowing the position I'm in now for a very long time. But,
Yeah. Okay.
right now, that's what stresses me the fuck out. Like the performance I'm expected to have in certain areas. I'm like, fuck, how am I going to pull this off?
Yeah. No, I get it. All right. You ready to
Anyway,
call it a night?
ready to wrap
I'm
this-
ready to call it a
Yeah.
night. I'm hungry.
I'm tired of talking to you.
Yeah.
I got to go pick up kids. So
Oh, well, good luck to you. So,
Yeah, thanks.
yeah, we'll do this again in 4 weeks or so.
whatever we feel like.
Right. All right. See ya.